Rebecca. Good afternoon to all of you. Hi. It's so wonderful to have you. It's also wonderful, Sergeant, to have you. Thank you so much. I'm sitting between, I must be an envy of a lot of people leading the change that we believe in. We have identified Farana as our lead man in South Asia in this campaign for gender equality, in championing he for she, and of course, he is our he's our ambassador, goodwill ambassador of UN Women. We see you as the person that can reach out just by the things that you do to young men, but also to young women, because your role model status is about changing society. It's about talking the men so that they can represent the things that we want them to be. We have been touched by the work that you have done as an artist, as a screenwriter, as a songwriter, as a singer, as a poet. I'm so jealous, you've got so many talents. But the fact that you share your talents to change the world, I think, makes all of us feel that we're part of your life.
Good evening, Dr. Phumzile, Farhan. Thank you for being here. Thank you for calling me. The first question is to you, Farhan. Throughout the fight for gender equality, we've seen that the focus has always been on women and how women can come to the forefront. Now, with he for she and events like these or movements like these, there's a focus which is shifting towards men and boys. How will this shift affect the movement for gender equality? One. Two, if the patriarchal society in India is so deep-rooted, in India, for instance, is deep-rooted, how difficult is it to change that mindset?
Well, good evening, everyone. Firstly, I just would like to say thank you to everyone at the UN, you in particular, for this wonderful honor today. It really has been something that I have been focusing on for the last 2.5 years, and I feel that this really broadens the horizon and encourages me further down this path. To answer your question, for a long time, people have thought of gender violence, gender equality as a female issue, but that really is not the case, because a lot of the prejudice, a lot of the violence against women comes from men. So if we start preventing rather than curing, I think we're going to end up with a society that's a lot more healthy, and with a lot less crime, a lot less discrimination that we'll have to deal with. So I do feel that it's also a men's problem, it's also a male problem, and that's really where the initiative Mard was focusing on, is to reach out to young boys and young men to get them involved. Sorry, what was this?
I was talking about the patriarchal society in India and how difficult is it to change the mindset, given that your reach of Mard, for instance, is mostly in the urban areas. But
that's not necessarily true. We've really been traveling around to many places. I mean, we have to, of course, meet. We have to find venues where we can meet with a lot of young people. That ends up being colleges more often than not. But it's not colleges only that are in metros. So we've done over 50 concerts now. They've been from cities like Mumbai to cities like Ranchi, just various other places, wherever we can get students in number to speak to them. So it's reaching out to them via our communication personally when we go there. It's reaching them through music that we're creating. It's reaching them through the social media, which really everybody is on now, regardless of where they live. But yeah, patriarchy is something, it's a mindset that all of us have grown up with. But it's important that when we as a generation have realized that there is something wrong in thinking that way, or in further propagating that mindset, that we start making a change now. There may be some people who are too far gone and it may be difficult to change them, but if we focus on children, if we focus on education, I think going forward on a generation to generation basis, we'll see a huge change.
Thank you, Farhan. Dr. Phumzile, the next question is to you. It will be 20 years next year for the Beijing Declaration. What are the next steps? You said that there have been, steps taken so far, but there's still a long way to go. What, in your assessment, are the next steps so that 2015 is not just another milestone, but something that is a call for action, something on the ground, something that can be concretely, shown in society?
One of the most important steps that we want to take in post-2015 is to increase the reach, the number of people for whom this is an issue. Historically, this has been an issue that only women, or mostly women, were taking responsibility for. And we realize that women are trying to correct an injustice without talking to the people that are implicated. And what we are doing in the reach is making sure that one half of humanity works with the other half of humanity for the benefit of all of humanity. And we think that is going to be a very important step in post-2015. But also, we want to have time frames. Yes, the post-2015 agenda, the 20 years after Beijing, is a date in the calendar of the women's struggle, but the important date is where do we want to reach and when do we want to get there. 2030 is meant to be an important date when the world would have had 15 years of implementing the new goals that the world is going to agree on. What we want is from year one, we must have critical, achievable targets that we must deliver on, and we must deliver on as men and women and as young and old. For instance, in many countries, including India, there is legislation that discriminates against women and that impinges on women's economic activity. One of the concrete things, we want to work with countries and governments to get that legislation off the statutes. So a concrete thing that will create a new dynamic for women and hopefully also push for significant implementation.
Second part of the question, Dr. Phumzile, was you've had Emma Watson as one of your Goodwill ambassadors. You've got Nicole Kidman, who's working with you. In India, I've got Farhan Akhtar. How important are celebrities in reaching out to the masses, and how would you use technology, especially social media, now that Facebook and Twitter have completely transformed media engagement? How will the United Nations, how will UN Women work together with the celebrities as also with technology to reach out to the masses?
Firstly, the people that we have as our ambassadors, we do a due diligence that they represent the value system that we are wanting to promote. So the first thing is that we provide young people especially with role models. And we want those role models to speak to them. What the social media provides us is the medium for that discussion and that connection and that regular contact. The nice thing about the mass media, you make one message, it reaches a lot of people instantly and in real time. So a combination of having people that appeal to people because of the value system, because of their talent, means that we've got a wonderful piece of something precious that we can put in front of humanity. But through them, we take the message. That's sometimes people like us who are bureaucrats or politicians or traditional leaders are unable to do. But once you put the people that give the pleasure through entertainment to young people, to society, to older people, they want to listen to the message. And if the message is about a value system that we're trying to promote, we then give ourselves an opportunity to take the message even further.
Farhan, when you go for your concerts and when you do all sorts of events to promote better and more engagement of men and boys in the gender equality movement, how do you go about choosing the right people to promote that message? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who approach you, or you approach a lot of people, but there must be some kind of filtering going on, some kind of, what are the value systems that you look for to promote that message?
I do agree that there has to be a certain degree of some diligence that you need to have before you have people representing your message. Similarly, when we spoke to Mard ambassadors, there was Shan, there was Sachin Tendulkar, there was Yuvraj Singh, and for me, they are people again who represent. Firstly, they connect with the youth on a very very major level. They also are very non-controversial people. They're people who are they're family people. I've seen them with their daughters, like for Sachin in particular. I've seen them with women when they're out and about, and there is a certain degree of just ease and in terms of equal treatment that they resonate in their being. So for me, it was very, you're absolutely right, it was important to pick the right people and to speak to the right people to represent Mard. Beyond that, we are doing artistic collaborations. So there's one song which was called Chule Asman, which was just out. And that again is with artists who are coming to us more than us going to them, and saying we want to be part of this. We feel the same way as you. If there's any way we can contribute, and that's what we're hoping to do, is create more creative content. So be it music, be it art, be it short films. That's really a direction that I would like to move with Mard, and of course for the UN He for She program.
Well, it's just that this is a campaign, so we've chosen a particular focus areas, because otherwise if we try to do everything in one campaign, we will lose the message. But in our work, we will address all kinds of forms of injustices, whether they come from men to women, women to women, women to men, men to men, all of it. In the end, it's about a world in which everybody is fair to each other. But in this particular campaign, we're highlighting a particular aspect which is predominant and has deadly consequences. When I mean deadly, women actually die because of the behavior that we are trying to address. But this is not to say what you are highlighting doesn't exist. It is just not the focus of this particular campaign. In the entertainment scene and content, one of the areas that we're very concerned about is video games, because there's a lot of video games that encourage violence. A video game that gives a player an option to either beat up a woman or rape a woman, and that game is made available to a 7-year-old. That is quite worrying. It's one of the things that in the He for She campaign would like the He for She's to look into and to try to discourage boys and men to use those games, but even more importantly, to discourage those who produce those games to produce those games and bring them out into society. I know it makes a lot of money, so it's going to be tough, but I think this is something that when the numbers go higher and higher, we should be able together to fight back.
What made you basically join this particular cause? Is it because you have two beautiful daughters? From that point, you thought of giving importance to this particular cause?
That too, but I also know many other people who have beautiful daughters, No, I think it's just something that troubled me for a very long time, and unfortunately, for a very long time I didn't do anything about it. I would just talk to people, in my living room or in their living rooms, and kind of vent this anger and frustration that I was feeling about what was happening, but never took any concrete steps towards actively giving time and energy into trying to figure out what it is or how I can be involved. And it came to a point where I really felt that if I didn't do something, it would start really affecting me, which is why it was important that I did.
You've spoken about parameters that you try to give boys and men about what a man should really be like, in terms of a role model. Can you just elaborate a little more on that? Because one thing you mentioned is telling them about, how everyone should consider everyone equal. But besides that, what other parameters do you give them?
If you want, we've written a basic, kind of a message about these parameters, which is down in the form of a poem for Mard. So if you want, I could just recite that for you. It probably just covers everything within it. So this was, it's written by my father, the poem, so I'll just say that before I recite it. जिसकी आंखों में है जगमगाती हुई जैसे गहरी शराफत की एक रोशनी, जिसके अंदाज में एक तहजीब है, जिसके लहजे में नरमी है, शब्दों में तमीज़ है, जिसके दिल में भी और जिसकी बातों में भी औरत के वास्ते पूरी इज्जत भी है, पूरा आदर भी है, जिसको औरत के तन मन का जीवन का सम्मान है, औरत के आत्मसम्मान का जिसको हर एक पल ध्यान है, जो कभी एक पल भी नहीं भूलता, औरत इंसान है। जिसको अपनी भी पहचान है, जिसमें हिम्मत भी है, जिसमें शक्ति भी है, जिसमें गौरव है, आत्मविश्वास है, जो अगर साथ है, जो अगर पास है, उसके होने से औरत को अपनी सुरक्षा का एहसास है। जो औरत का एक सच्चा साथी है, एक दोस्त है, एक हमदर्द है, सच तो ये है, वही मर्द है।
I just wanted to ask you, do you think that the stereotypical roles that the women have in Bollywood are changing as time is passing?
Well, I would like to believe that. You know, I think there's many films being made which are with author-backed roles for women. You know, where women are playing a lot more important parts than what we saw maybe about 10, 15 years ago. It's not just about romances anymore. They're parts of drama, you know, of very different kinds of films. So, yes, absolutely. And we have a lot more female filmmakers now. You know, so that in itself will start changing the kind of films that are being made. Because as men, maybe we understand men's issues more, so we talk a lot more about that in our films. I think women will also tend to probably write a lot more about what it is that comes naturally to them.
कि बहुत से कैंपेन चलाए जाते हैं महिलाओं के लिए, बहुत सारी एनजीओज़ हैं जो आज काम कर रही हैं इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, नेशनल लेवल पे, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी अखबार में हर रोज़ महिलाओं से के उत्पीड़न से जुड़ी हुई चीज़ें या बच्चियों के उत्पीड़न से जुड़ी हुई चीज़ें पेपर में पढ़ने को, देखने को, सुनने को मिलती हैं। खबरें आती हैं, 2-4 दिन तक उसे कवर किया जाता है, हाईलाइट होती हैं चीज़ें, लेकिन जो महिलाएँ जो गाँव में हैं, जो बच्चियाँ हैं, जो मेट्रो तक तो चलिए ठीक है, बातें निकल कर अवेयरनेस के तौर पर आ जाती हैं, लेकिन जो गाँव की बच्चियाँ हैं, जो गाँव की महिलाएं हैं, क्या लगता है कि इतने सारे अवेयरनेस के बाद, इतने सारे कैंपेन के बाद, इतने सारे एनजीओज़ के एक्टिव होने के बाद भी सोसाइटी में चीज़ें अभी भी मिसिंग हैं, वो वहाँ तक नहीं पहुँच रही हैं जो एक गरीबी रेखा के नीचे जीने वाली एक परिवार है, उस परिवार की औरत है, उस परिवार की बच्ची है।
मैं ये नहीं मानता कि जो बहुत सारे ऐसे एनजीओज़ हैं जो अलग अलग एरियाज़ में अलग अलग स्टेटस के लोगों के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक इट्स नॉट राइट टू से दैट नोबडी इज़ रीचिंग आउट टू पीपल who are not in cities or who live below the poverty line. There's many people reaching out to them and doing some great work in helping them. You know, whether it's find education, find employment, or just basic awareness again, like was mentioned earlier about themselves. तो ये हो रहा है और मीडिया भी जो है, मतलब it's a very very important role the media plays in this. और वो वक्त गया कि सिर्फ एक सेंसेशनल हेडलाइन के लिए लोग कुछ कहते थे and there was no follow up. मेरे ख्याल से आजकल मीडिया दे आर वेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबल इन टर्म्स ऑफ फॉलोइंग अ स्टोरी टू इट्स लॉजिकल कंक्लूजन. You know, they have been responsible truly for making sure that many cases are filed, many FIRs are filed. You know, they really are doing a wonderful job, and I think we should thank them instead of saying that they don't do enough. I think they're doing a lot, and they're reaching out to various people across this country of various social, financial stratas and helping them. And I mean, I guess all we can do is keep the volume up on these problems and just try and again just keep raising awareness and getting people to start getting involved and change the way they think.
Thank you, Farhan. We are sorry we have completely run out of time. Thank you, Farhan, very much for coming here.